It's opening night here at Great American Ballpark. Opening day was a success for the Reds. Great defense, timely hitting, and excellent pitching all resulted in a shutout win. Tonight, the Reds are hoping for a repeat performance against the Marlins here on Fox Sports Ohio. Welcome to opening week of baseball presented by Burger King. Hi and a pleasant good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Couch along with Chris Welsh. Welcome to Reds Baseball here on Fox Sports Ohio. It is indeed the second game of this opening three-game series, but more importantly, Chris, it is opening night. And like our brethren down below, Jim Day and Jeff Pecoro, we decided to dress for the occasion, and I must say, you look resplendent in that suit. And particularly the bow tie. You might want to think about doing something like that on a weekly basis.
Well, I might do that maybe weekly if it begins with T and ends in Y. It might be Tuesday. Bow tie Tuesday coming up for you in just a few days, Jim.
Hey, we have an interesting pitching matchup for tonight's game. We have the all-time Marlins strikeout leader in Ricky Nolasco and a gentleman making his Reds debut tonight in one Matt Layton.
Well, Ricky Nolasco is a very solid pitcher. He likes to sink the ball. He's going to get a lot of ground balls. He has his trouble with left-handers, but remember there are only two left-handers in the Reds lineup. On the other hand, Matt Latos is a guy, you got to feel for him right now. He's got so many emotions going on. He's pitching against a team that he grew up watching. Remember, he's from Coconut Creek, Florida, right down there in South Florida. He's been around for 10 years, the Marlins have. He watched them through his formative years. And the other thing is that remember that Matt Latos was traded for 4 big-time players, prospects, went over to San Diego. He's got a lot of burden on his shoulder. The biggest thing for Latos tonight, take a deep breath, relax. Don't try to earn all your money or justify the trade in the first inning.
Well, he certainly hopes to follow suit in what Johnny Cueto did on opening day, but remember, there was also excellent relief pitching in that game on Thursday. That came from Sean Marshall, and before that, from Aroldis Chapman. We'll take a look at that when we come back. Opening night in Cincinnati.
and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Cincinnati Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio is brought to you by the 2012 Ford F-150 Motor Trend Truck of the Year, by Cincinnati USA. Let us be your travel guide to Cincinnati USA. Visit CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Game time is Skyline time. Stop by your favorite Skyline Chili today. You can see a beautiful night here in Cincinnati. Tonight's weather report brought to you by Thompson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drain Cleaning. Let's take a look at the weather. Here's Tim Hedrick from WKRC-TV.
No problems for the ball game tonight. We'll start in the lower 60s. We'll fall well down into the 50s, but it could be worse this time of year. Rain, snow. Enjoy the game on Fox Sports Ohio.
Game 2 of this season as the Reds won on opening day, and that man was a big part, Chris, late in the game.
Well, I think he was absolutely. A lot of people thought breaking spring training that Aroldis Chapman might be in the starting rotation. Dusty Baker used him in the first game out there. He came in just throwing as hard as he ever did with a great slider. Looked very impressive. And then Sean Marshall came in with a variety of breaking balls. He struck 2 out in the inning, as did Aroldis Chapman. The southpaws at the very end of the bullpen did their job on opening day.
The Reds scored 2 times in the bottom of the 8th, or that would have been a save situation for the lefty Marshall, who will be the man at the end of the bullpen, at least at the beginning of the season, for Dusty Baker and company. Chapman a perfect inning, Marshall a perfect inning on opening day against these Marlins. Reds won here opening day 4-0. Their first shutout on opening day since 1980 here at home. A game then authored by the right-hander Frank Pastore. Game 2 tonight. Park. There was a sellout on Thursday. There's a sellout again tonight as Matt Latos leads the Reds onto the field here on opening night, the first night game of 2012. And the opponent, of course, the Miami Marlins, led by their skipper, Ozzie Guillen, after 8 years managing the White Sox, including a World Series title in 2005. He manages now in the National League, competing in the National League's East Division. Here's his lineup for tonight's game, and it is virtually the same as it was on opening night, the opening day. That is to say, Jose Reyes leads off at short. Emilio Bonifacio is in center. Hanley Ramirez over third. The middle three, Giancarlo Stanton in right, Logan Morrison in left, Gabby Sanchez at first, and then the bottom three, Omar Infante at second. John Buck catches,
Ricky Nolasco pitches.
Well, Matt Latos takes the mound. Big 6'6" right-hander from down in Broward Community College. That's where he was selected by the San Diego Padres as their 11th pick back in the 2006 draft. Of course, came over here from the San Diego Padres in that deal that sent Yonder Alonso, Brad Boxberger, Yasmani Grandal, and Edinson Volquez to San Diego. But the Reds feel that with Latos, they have a guy that has the stuff to be at the top of the rotation. He is a durable type pitcher. He pitched about 190 innings last year, and they expect he and Johnny Cueto to really be the keys to the rotation at the very top. He had a good spring. He threw a lot of strikes, pitched 24 innings overall, threw the ball over the plate, only walked 4 batters. Did Matt Latos throughout the entire spring. In fact, he pitched 4 ball games, or 3 or 4, in which he did not walk a batter at all. So expect him to be around the plate, challenge these Marlin hitters with that 4-seam fastball and that nearly unhittable slider.
Now, Chris, I know what people are thinking. They're saying, hey, but what about that game against the Cubs? His second to the last start of spring, he had to leave. Looked like he had a calf situation, but that's really a non-issue, isn't it?
It is. I mean, he fell over. There were a lot of people, in Latos' words, tweeting all over that he was going to be out for the year. Maybe people wishful thinking from San Diego. No way. He told me that he felt like he stepped in mud. He didn't strain anything. It was a little bit of a calf tweak. He had this pitch count in that day. No big deal for Latos, but I can tell you, getting ready to pitch against his own hometown team, and the first time for the Reds, his emotions are running high right now.
Well, he has pitched very well in the 2 starts he has made in this ballpark as a Padre, and he delivers his first pitch as a Red, and it misses high for ball 1. And this game, the second game of the series, second game of the season, underway from GABP. That's Jose Reyes, a switch-hitting shortstop, leading it off for the Miami club. Latos, a hard thrower, 185 strikeouts, 194 and a third innings last year, but he gave up only 168 hits a year ago. And naturally, Chris, you'll want to look at the home run numbers that he gave up last year, and they're interesting to look at as that ball slapped to the shortstop, but Cozart makes the play and throws him out. Take a look at the Reds defensively behind Matt Latos, presented by your local Ford dealers. The Reds will line up like this across the outfield. Heisey, Stubbs, and Bruce. On the infield, left side, it's Roland and Cozart. On the right side, Phillips and Votto. Devin Mesoraco making his first start of the year. Catches the 24-year-old Matt Latos. When you talk about the pitching and the home runs given up by Latos, he gave up 16, but it's an interesting breakdown that he gave up 8 at home and 8 on the road. So that ballpark out there really didn't have that much of a difference for him, did it?
Well, a lot of people thought that with Latos coming over here, small ballpark, fly ball pitcher, that, he may not be the perfect pitcher for Great American Ballpark, but what the Reds like about him is his arm, his aggressiveness. He's a bulldog on the mound, and I wouldn't worry about home runs here. You worry about wins and losses. He'll take care of business 1 inning at a time.
He quickly here gets ahead 2 strikes to nothing to Emilio Bonifacio. Second consecutive switch hitter atop Ozzie Guillen's lineup. He's their center fielder. Skip right off the top of the glove of Mesoraco and back to the screen.
You may want to get that glove up there a little quicker next time.
Latos, 9 wins, 14 losses a year ago, pitching to Mesoraco for the first time in a regular season game. They worked, of course, together in spring training, and Mesoraco made 18 starts last year, so this is not his major league debut, but it is the Reds' debut of this man, Matt Latos. And he gets Bonifacio on a sharp breaking ball in the dirt. He's claiming it was a foul ball, but the home plate umpire, Ted Barrett, is saying no. That's the second out. That's your guy right there.
Well, Ted Barrett's about one of the best that there is, and the way an umpire is going to judge this particular play is by whether he hears the ball hit the bat or not. You can't see it. I mean, no one's eyes are that good. Ozzie Guillen to go out just to say, are you sure you heard it? Ted Barrett is certain. Let's take a look and see if we can detect anything. He missed it. He may have hit the ground with his bat. That's probably what he was thinking.
By the look of that, it looked to be clearly a swing and a miss. So there are 2 men out. Here's Hanley Ramirez.
That, by the way, is a slider, 84 miles an hour. When you see that on the radar gun and it breaks down like that, that is the one that it really is a calling card for Latos.
Umpiring crew tonight. On the bases, it's Brian Runge at first, Marvin Hudson at second, Tim McClelland at third, and our man behind the plate, Chris, is Ted Barrett. What do we know about Ted Barrett?
Well, Ted Barrett is one of our, I guess, stars of our baseball tech talk.
Yeah.
He is nice enough to donate some of his time in spring training every year to take us through the rules of the game. And he's one of the better umpires in the league. And one thing I'll tell you about Ted Barrett you may not know, Jim.
Okay.
Is that he is a former boxer, as in professional boxer and amateur boxer. His son is also a boxer. He can handle himself now. And he's also an ordained minister. And he married a number of the umpires in the offseason. Not to each other.
That's polygamy, isn't it? He's married to a number of the umpires. He's in his 15th year as a big league manager. Yeah, pardon me, as a big league umpire. That pitch misses inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hanley Ramirez so far this year, nothing out of 8 with 3 strikeouts. This team has scored just the 1 run. Picked up 7 hits in 18 innings this year thus far. Votto coming over, and Votto will make a play. And a 1-2-3 first turned in by the right-hander Matt Latos here on opening night at Great American Ballpark. Brought to you by the 2012 Ford F-150 Motor Trend Truck of the Year by Cincy USA. Let us be your travel guide to Cincinnati, USA. Visit CincinnatiUSA.com and by Skyline Chili. Game time is Skyline time. Stop by your favorite Skyline Chili today. Good start to this game for the Reds, and that man, Dusty Baker, gets his team off to a 1-0 start. Chris, he makes the comment after the game, you can't win them all unless you win number 1.
Well, you only hear that really on opening day, Jim, and he's happy to have won his first game of the season. A lot of expectations for his ball club here this year, no doubt about that. And you put a win on the board, you make everybody feel good. Record crowd at Great American Ballpark on opening day. He'd like to continue that tonight.
Well, Ricky Nolasco, the right-hander on the mound, will face Brandon Phillips, Zach Cozart, Joey Votto to get the bottom of the first started. Brandon had a hit, 1 for 4, plus a walk. He walked to start the first inning on opening day. He was on base twice. In the leadoff spot, which is exactly where he likes to be. Hard toward the hole. Reyes with a strong arm and a throw, and he gets Brandon at first base. Take a look now at Dusty's lineup tonight here in Game 2 of this series. He'll have Phillips, Cozart, and Votto in the top. Scott Rowland, Jay Bruce, Chris Heisey in the middle. The bottom 3 include Drew Stubbs, Devin Mesoraco, and the pitcher Matt Latos bats ninth. Ricky Nolasco on the mound. He made 33 starts, leading this Marlins staff a year ago. That Cozart scored the first run of the game on Thursday. He was 2 for 4, including a double late. And got a lot of action out at the shortstop spot early in the game. He was telling me today that he was awfully glad that that first one was a pop-up to him, and he had a couple of ground balls early just to kind of get into the swing of things. He jumps ahead, 2 balls and 1 strike. Cozart, a very good spring in terms of numbers. Recovered fully from the left elbow surgery, the Tommy John surgery that he had last summer after that play out at second base. Reyes will get another chance to show off the arm, and he does, and a good scoop on the receiving end by Gabby Sanchez.
Well, when Jose Reyes plays in a baseball game, he'll show off a lot of things, mainly arms and legs, and he used his legs that time to get over to the hole. When you're a third baseman next to him, as is Hanley Ramirez, you don't have to cover a whole lot of ground. You kind of stay your spot over there and let Reyes take the rest of the left side of the infield.
So Nolasco tries to follow suit with Matt Latos, which is to say to have a 1-2-3 inning. Joey Votto tries to do something about that as he takes a first pitch strike. Votto a hit in 3 at bats, plus an intentional walk issued to him in the game on Thursday. They shift him on the infield with a second baseman in the hole on the right side. The shortstop Reyes cheating toward the middle, but you can see a little bit of a shift the other way in the outfield. He loves to drive that ball toward the Reds bullpen out in left center.
Well, one of the reasons why Joey Votto is so good at hitting left-handed pitching is that he will hit the ball the other way, hit the breaking ball that moves away from him the other way, and he can do that against a right-hander as well. That's why the outfield shades him like you would be playing a right-handed hitter, and the infield actually shades him a little bit like a pull lefty.
Two and two now to Votto.
Rarely do you ever see Joey Votto stand up there and try to pull the baseball, even on a pitcher that is trying to cram him with fastballs. And that's really the book on Votto. If you want to get him out, of course, you have to move the ball around the strike zone, but a lot of pitchers will try to tease him away and then get him out inside.
Votto strikes out, and down in order go the Reds here in the bottom of the first. Both pitchers have a 1-2-3 after 1. No score.
My stats are similar. I have Holman on the road, so I mean, nothing's going to change. I'm still going to have the same approach as I would if I was pitching, 500 feet all the way around. It's not going to change anything.
This game's storylines are, as always, brought to you by Elk & Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK, Ohio.
That's a good point that Matt Latos said right there. He's going to pitch the same even in a small ballpark like Great American. You can't pitch with the worry about how close the fence is. That way you get defensive. He is an aggressive style pitcher, and he's got to stay that way.
You see those ERAs, while different, not markedly different. As a base hit up the middle by Giancarlo Stanton leads things off for the Marlins here in the top of the second. Batter will be Logan Morrison.
Talk about a strong guy. Giancarlo Stanton might be the strongest player in the league, if not of all of Major League Baseball. Watching him take batting practice, watching him last year, one of the couple home runs I think that he hit here at Great American Ballpark or against the Reds. Man, oh man, what a powerhouse.
Well, Joey will hold him on over at first base. This is a Marlins team that really didn't do much running at all a year ago. And of course, they upgrade their running ability with the addition of Jose Reyes on this team. Logan Morrison now, left-handed batter. See, he's wearing number 5. That number in the first 19 years of the 20 years of existence for this Marlins team was retired. No one has worn it until this year with Logan Morrison. Marlins retired that number 5 back in 1993 in honor of the late Carl Barger, the club's first president, chief operating officer, who passed away during the winter meetings back in 1992. Barger's favorite player was Joe DiMaggio. He wore number 5, so they decided to retire that number 5 until this year. Morrison played on opening day against the Cardinals with 1 for 3. Did not play here on Reds opening day in the first game of this series. Morrison, just to continue that story about number 5, he wanted to wear number 5 because he modeled his game after George Brett, the Kansas City Hall of Famer, who also wore number 5. Latos, a former 11th round pick back in 2006 by the San Diego Padres. Reds saw him a couple of years ago. He made his 3rd ever big league start here in this ballpark. Went 7 innings, allowed 1 run, 1 hit. With the runner going, Phillips will flip, get an out, and back over to first. They get another one. Boy, that was a risky play by Brandon, but he executed it perfectly.
Well, I'm not so sure that it was risky, but it was a flamboyant style play for Brandon, because if what happens is that you're there too late with the peg, you still have a chance to get the runner at first. But you always try to get the lead runner if you think you can. And this is the kind of thing that Zach Cozart is simply going to have to get used to, is that an aggressive style of a defensive play by Brandon Phillips. Quick hands like that, you better be ready for the ball coming from all different angles, all different ways if you're Zach Cozart. And man, what a great defensive play to get both runners off the base paths.
And Stanton was bearing down on him, wasn't he? Brandon, of course, presented a Gold Glove prior to the game along with Joey Votto. Now Latos has an opportunity to face the minimum through the first 2 as he deals here with Gabby Sanchez.
Hey, speaking of that Gold Glove, we're going to be joined by Jim Day later, who will be maybe had that whole Gold Glove and describe it, get a good shot of it, what it really looks like, what it feels like. Knowing Jim Day, he'll let us know what it smells like too.
And we look forward to that. What's that, 4th inning? Latos with that pitch at 93, misses inside. He's at 2-1. Gabby Sanchez has had back-to-back 19 home run years. He, like Latos, grew up down in the Miami area, is a native of Miami, played at the University of Miami, drafted by the Marlins back in 2005. They may have faced each other in their youth.
Well, that's a real defensive swing right there by Gabi Sanchez. You can see that he was just trying to put the bat on the ball, a high fastball coming in there in the mid-90s. You don't have much time. And if you've got a long swing, you'll never reach up to it. But the problem for a hitter now is to prepare for that pitch and then still adjust to the slider.
Look at that.
Or the changeup.
Wow. Right in there, and a strikeout of Sanchez, the second of the game thus far for Matt Latos. We're through an inning and a half of scoreless baseball. /fan guide for a chance to win a VIP experience for 2 this year at a World Series game presented by Scott's, the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball. And don't forget, coming up later in the broadcast, we'll show you tonight's Miller Time moment. They have had one already with that nice play out at second base. Started by Brandon Phillips, the double play that went 4-6-3. Here come the Reds now in the bottom of the second. Rowland, Bruce, and Heisey against his 29-year-old Ricky Nolasco. Rowland opening day 1 for 3. That was a double that started the 6th inning. He was later driven in on a double by Ludwig. Ricky Nolasco, drafted by the Cubs, traded to the Marlins in December of 2005, so he's been pitching for them since 2006. And he has a 2-2 count on Scott Rowland. Rowland just turned 37 years old this past Wednesday. Soft liner caught by Reyes for out number 1. Take a look now at the defense for this Marlins club, presented by your local Ford dealers. Morrison, Bonifacio, Stanton in the outfield. Hanley Ramirez, Jose Reyes on the left side with Omar Infante and Gabi Sanchez on the right side. John Buck catches Ricky Nolasco. Ford defensive look. One out for Jay Bruce. Bruce, the first home run of the season late in the contest on Thursday, and that was a no-doubter, wasn't it?
Right, the dead center field had a whole lot of that one.
Halfway up the hitter's eye out there.
fastball that kind of tailed out over the plate against the right-hander, and wow, right out the front door.
Chases one in the dirt there.
That's a secret that makes Ricky Nolasco a very difficult pitcher to negotiate, is his ability to change speeds. And that at bat, he's given Jay Bruce a couple of different kinds of pitches. Finally put him away with an off-speed pitch. He'll only use his fastball about 50% of the time. The other pitches he works in that pitch, a splitter, a slider, and a curveball. Keeps the ball down, gets a lot of ground balls. A guy that you may not have heard a lot about, but he's a solid major league pitcher. Went over 200 innings last year.
He's faced 5, retired 5, and now faces Chris Heisey. Gets his first start of the year. Heisey had a pinch hit RBI double in the 8th inning on Thursday. Playable, and Sanchez gets there, and so it's 6 up, 6 down to the first 2 for the Marlins right-hander Ricky Nolasco, and we are scoreless through 2 innings. Fox Sports Ohio is brought to you by the JTM Food Group, creating great dishes together with the food service industry for over 30 years. By your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. For a dealer near you, visit buyatoyota.com, and by Burger King, the proud sponsor of the opening week of baseball. Red carpet treatment is what the Reds players got today prior to the game. Hit hard toward left field and off the wall. Off the bat of Omar Infante. He'll end up with a double for Infante. His first hit of the season, second hit of the game for the Marlins.
Well, Matt Latos has become fairly predictable, at least with the first pitch of each inning. What he has thrown to every Marlin to lead off the inning is a fastball. Giancarlo Stanton jumped on one, hit a line drive to the shortstop, hit it very sharply, and this time again another fastball. Omar Infante looking for a piece of cheese, gets it and drives it in the gap.
Well, Marlins see something that they have not seen a whole lot of through their first 2+ games, and that is a runner in scoring position. Again, just 1 run across for the first 18 innings, plus 2 here today, so 1 run in 20 innings so far this year. Big night tonight here at Great American Ballpark. Not only is it opening night, but all the fanfare that is going with it. And between innings, they had a video interview on the big board here at the ballpark. One of the stars of the Hunger Games, the hot movie that's out right now, with Josh Hutcherson, Union, Kentucky native. Boy, what a great job he did in that movie.
You'll see him a lot. He's a very busy young man, very nice young man. Actually, went to grade school and middle school with one of my sons over in Union, Kentucky. We got to know the Hutchinson family. Great kid, and wish him a lot of luck and great success. Like, he needs it now. He's already on his way to being one of the big stars in Hollywood.
And he played the part of Peter Mellark in the movie. Actually, you mentioned he's from Union. Jennifer Lawrence, the female star of that movie, is from Louisville, Kentucky. So the Bluegrass State dominating the Hunger Games. She plays Katniss Everdeen. Buck went fishing there.
John Buck, a very good hitting catcher. He's really in there more for his offense than his defense. He'll throw you out, yes, but for the most part, he can wheel that lumber. Even though he's batting down the number 8 spot, do not fall asleep with him in the batter's box.
This is the second year for Buck of a 3-year deal signed before last season with the Marlins. And he got him on a foul tip, a pitch in on his hands. That's the first out of the third.
Boy, talk about changing speeds. I really like the way right now that Matt Latos and Devin Mesoraco are working together. Changing speeds a little bit. You'd figure, hey, after he had a bad swing at a breaking ball the pitch before, why not come back and throw him another breaking ball? Well, maybe Buck was thinking the same thing, looking for something off speed, got the fastball. Mesoraco one step ahead of the hitters right now.
So here's the Marlins pitcher, Ricky Nolasco. Not much in the way of a hitter. As soon as I say that, he'll probably do something damaging. But last year he hit under 100 in his career, under 200 with a bat.
You know, one of the interesting things to watch when you have a young catcher is that we've got a great view, center field camera view. Watch him behind the plate. With a runner on base, he'll give a sign and then move to the spot very late so that the runner can't relay to the hitter where that catcher's setting up. You try to be, as a catcher behind the plate, very quiet. You want to give the umpire a real good look at the pitch coming in there, and if it's on the corner or right, a marginal pitch, you hold it there for an extra moment.
Nasty stuff right there.
That's a yacker. He's got the curveball, which will come in the mid-70s. That was that pitch, and then the slider in the mid-80s, and the fastball in the mid-90s.
Dusty makes the comment about Latos that he is a potential number 1. That's high praise.
Well, he's always had the stuff to be a number 1. In fact, when he was in high school, they thought that he would be possibly a number 1 draft pick in the first round, that is. Had some issues in high school, some immaturity issues, followed him through his career at Broward Community College, and even in some of his uniform days with the San Diego Padres. Teammates took offense with the way he acted on a little immature part. Reds are hoping that that's just something that, you know, being a young man in the age of 19 to 22, you'll eventually grow out of. He didn't show me anything like that this spring. What he showed me this spring was a guy that got out there very early, one of the first guys at the ballpark, worked very hard, listened to what Brian Price and Mac Jenkins had to say, and don't talk to him on game day. Right, Jim?
Yeah, you know, that's something that you learn years and years ago when you first get into baseball, and you should carry through.
We'll tell that story before the night's out.
And I just wish I had. You had him at 0-2. Now it's at 2-2.
All right, you had him at one of his starts. You want to go up and talk to him, introduce yourself to him, because there's so many players in camp. You don't introduce yourself to everybody on the first day. So you went up to Latos on a day that he was about to pitch. And he had his earplugs in, grooving out to his music, and you stood in front of his locker.
And said, "Hi, how are you?" and put my hand out. And he looked up at me and slowly took the earbuds out and said, "You know I'm pitching today." But in the end, he was very cordial and said, it's only a spring training game, so it's no big deal. But he said, if you try to do that to me on a game day in the regular season, I might not be as nice. And I said, I understand that.
You know, it's funny because some pitchers are guys that they show up at the ballpark on game day that they're going to pitch, and you can't shut them up. They're bouncing all over the room. They've got all this excitable energy going on. And then you have those that don't want to be talked to. He would be in that latter category.
Put him in that category and keep him there. Correct. Phillips sets and throws, and he'll get Nolasco, but that ground out moves the runner along. Celebrate Easter here at Great American Ballpark. Cheer on the Reds when they take on the Marlins tomorrow in the afternoon game at half price with a Meyer family deal. When one member of the family purchases a full price ticket, they'll get the option to purchase 3 additional tickets at half price. Plus, the first 8,000 kids 14 and younger get a kids Easter tin thanks to Meyer. Don't miss Sunday family days with the Reds. For information, call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com for tickets. That will wrap up this opening series, but not this opening homestand. To right, and Bruce is there. And another shutout inning, his third of this game for the right-hander, Matt Latos.
Prided myself on as being a well-rounded, complete player, and being able to play small ball, but then again being able to drive the ball and make things happen that way. So yes, it's something I'm aware of. Yes, it's something I'm going to continue to do and probably do more this year than in the past. But at the same time, you want to be well-rounded and use the element of surprise. Look at the situation. If there's nobody on and you're leading off an inning, that's a good time to use it. If there's 2 outs and nobody on, not so much, because then you got to have another hit to score you, even if you steal a base. So it's something I'm cognizant of and something I'm continuing to work on, but there's a time and a place for everything.
Drew Stubbs talking about bunting, and in particular that bunt that he laid down, that push bunt in the second inning, Chris, on Thursday.
Well, it really makes a lot of sense for him to do that occasionally, especially early in the year. You've got a lot of scouts watching the ball games. You have people charting these games. And the word you want, if you're Drew Stubbs, is that the fact, yes, he will lay down a bunt. So the infield comes in a little bit, opens up some angles for him. If he hits a ball on the ground, regular full swing, he may pick up a couple of extra base hits that way.
That bunt hit he had on Thursday, his only hit of opening day. He also was on once and scored via a walk.
I am by no means one of those guys that thinks that Drew Stubbs should bunt once a game. But his approach should be a little smaller than it has been in the past.
And I guess, as you said, it should be a weapon in his arsenal.
And the unusual thing about this particular bunt is watch him push it to the right side. He told me that even when he was at the University of Texas and throughout the minor leagues, that whenever he did bunt, he always bunted down the third base line. He felt more comfortable doing that. against a left-handed pitcher like Mark Burley, makes more sense to go to the right side of the infield.
We used to see Norris Hopper do that so effectively when he played for the Reds.
Norris had it down to a science. I'm surprised the guy has not latched on to some big league organization to be just the bunny instructor.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how, specific coaching has gotten nowadays. He would be perfect for that.
Reyes will have to hurry and does, and throws Stubbs out. So 7 up, 7 down thus far for Ricky Nolasco. Jose Reyes, you notice the different look that he is sporting this year as well. He used to have the long dreadlocks, remember that? Well, after he signed his new deal with the Marlins, 5 days after that, he got his hair cut. He sold the hair for $10,000 plus on eBay. Marlins have a strict policy on length of hair, and so after he got the hair cut, rather than to have the hair swept away, decided to put it to a good cause. Proceeds of the sold hair went to the Make-A-Wish Foundation in southern Florida.
Good cause there.
Well-groomed look now.
Yeah. I didn't mind it before with the dreads.
As a Rocco with his first at bat of the year, and it's a solid single in the left.
Well, gets a high fastball. He's going to go ahead and try to get ahead of the young man. And he just puts it right into zone. A good, short, compact swing for Devin Mesoraco. Gets his foot down, stays back on the ball. Looking good.
Well, let's see if Latos has an idea here about bunting him along. Last year, 5 bunts. Last year as a hitter, under 100.
Yeah, Matt did not really in spring training impress me with his bunting style. Not to say he's not going to be able to get it down, but he did it that time and had a nice job.
Velasco will field and throw him out on a short hop to first base. But it does the job. It gets the runner over to second base with 2 out. Right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, you can join Hal McCoy for a live in-game chat on today's game. Plus, we're just a few weeks away from the NFL Draft. What are the Bengals going to do? Get it all on FoxSportsOhio.com, presented by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO and SafeAuto.com. The first plate appearance of the year, a successful one for Matt Latos. Now an opportunity for Brandon Phillips. Grounded out to the shortstop his first time. Brandon looking for that first RBI of the year. Drove in 82 a year ago. Last year was a plus 300 hitter with runners in scoring position. Reyes has been busy from the outfield grass, and a good scoop on the receiving end by Gabby Sanchez. Phillips gone. So are the Reds here in the home half of the third.
They gave him his first Gold Glove, and of course Brandon Phillips gets his third. He won 3 out of the last 4 Gold Gloves at second base. And guys, as promised, here is one of these. It is Brandon Phillips Gold Glove, and truly one of the coolest trophies in sports. It's an actual Rawlings glove dipped in gold. So Brandon Phillips told me before the game, because as you can see, the glove easily comes off. It's dipped in gold, and last year with his Gold Glove, he actually took it out into the field and wanted to see if he could take ground balls with it. Of course, in Gold Glove style, he did.
Well, that one is red and black that he has on now. The other one, of course, is gold. You mentioned he has 3 of them. This team, with the Gold Glove winners it has and the potential Gold Glove winners, should be, and in fact has been, one of the top defensive teams in the National League.
Well, this is really one of the reasons why, if you're a pitcher for the Reds, you ought to learn to keep the ball down in the zone, let those guys earn their money back behind you, because you've got some of the best glove men in all of baseball. Joey Votto has shown that he has come such a long way defensively. Signed as a catcher, moved to third base, tried a little outfield in the minor leagues. Now he's settled in as one of the best offensive first baseman in the game, and of course defensively as well.
2 people that have not won a Gold Glove, but Chris, you would figure they would in the future. One is Bruce in right, another is Stubbs in center.
I think it's a matter of time.
That's Bronson Arroyo won one 2 years ago. The pitcher spot.
First we saw Mark Burley, who has won a couple of them as the opening day pitcher for the Marlins.
Dusty Baker said during spring training that he thinks Drew Stubbs will win many a Gold Glove. And he thought that Jay Bruce, both last year and in 2010, should have been a Gold Glove winner. And he may have more of an opportunity now, because I think it was last year that they actually have switched the Gold Glove voting to not just include all outfielders, but a Gold Glove for a left fielder, a center fielder, and a right fielder. Speaking of Gold Gloves, how about our AT&T trivia question of the night? Name the 3 National League players to be on the All-Star team and win both a Gold Glove and a Silver Slugger in 2011. Interesting question. 3 National League players that were All-Stars and won both a Gold Glove and a Silver Slugger award in 2011. Pretty good lead at first by Bonifacio, held over there by Votto. Draws the attention of Matt Latos.
You know, I do know the Gold Gloves are voted on by managers and coaches. Now, you're not allowed to vote for your own guys, but I'm not sure how they arrive at the Silver Slugger award.
Nor am I.
Why don't we set Joel Luckup into action, let him find out the answer to that question.
His fingers are already flying off to our left.
Meanwhile, speaking of flying, that guy at first base can fly a little bit. Emilio Bonifacio is a stolen base threat, and that's one of the shortcomings, I guess, if there is one, of Matt Latos' pitching game. He does not hold runners all that well, like a lot of big power pitchers. He lumbers a little bit long on his delivery to the plate, and sometimes against a rabid team, you'll have an opportunity to run if you get your speedsters on.
Bonifacio had 40 of them last year in 51 attempts.
Which we saw the other night. Of course, Jim, we've seen it all throughout spring training, and also Devin Mesoraco from time to time in the minor leagues. What a gun he has behind the plate. So you've got a special weapon there tonight.
They have 2 major base stealers at the top of their lineup. Bruce tracking this ball, and he'll get there. Ramirez 0 for 2 in this game, and now 0 for 10 thus far in the season.
All right, the answer to the question, the Silver Slugger, who votes on that? Managers and coaches vote there too.
Thank you, Joel. So 1 on, 1 out for Giancarlo Stanton. You knew him, of course, as Mike Stanton prior to this year.
That first pitch breaking ball right there is a pretty smart pitch. He jumped all over the first fastball that he saw from Latos' last time up. Stanton, a good fastball hitter. He's geared for something hard, and he holds back on that breaking ball.
Well, you saw that block there by Devin Mesoraco. He credits Corky Miller with helping him an awful lot last year when he spent most of the season at Louisville.
Going over to first base. That's pretty much a universal sign. I'm not giving away any kind of special trade secrets here, but normally it really goes for any team. If you see that catcher kind of give the thumb, either that means flip the hitter or throw it to first.
Runner going. Pitch low and a stolen base for Bonifacio.
He had a big jump right there on Matt Latos, and I'll tell you, Devin Mesoraco nearly made something out of nothing with that throw. A rocket throw that went about 3 feet over the pitcher's rubber and went right into the glove of Brandon Phillips at the other end. Made it a lot closer than it really should have been.
First of the year for Bonifacio. In fact, the first by the Marlins this year in 2 attempts. They had a runner in scoring position last inning and failed to drive him home, and now a runner in scoring position here in the 4th with 1 out.
Yeah, this is going to sound funny, but I think in some situations it's almost better for a pitcher like Matt Latos, who has had his problems holding runners at first base, to have that guy on second. Now he can go back and really concentrate on getting the hitter, making sure he gets loaded as far as getting his weight on his back leg and all of his legs and core moving towards the plate. Sometimes you get too quick for the runner at first base, you lose your stuff.
Gets the call in the inside corner there to even things at 2-2.
Of course, maybe one of the best pitchers of our generation, and Greg Maddux, had a theory about trying to shut down the running game. He didn't care. He just wanted to make sure when that runner did get into scoring position, he really bore down on that hitter and made sure he didn't give up a crippled pitch that would hurt him.
Another nice block there by
Maddox's theory was really, I'm not worried about the runner. The guy with the bat in his hand is the one that can do the most damage.
He had theories, almost all good ones, on about everything regarding pitching, didn't he?
Sure made it seem simple.
He's working now with his brother Mike in the Texas Rangers organization.
Mike, the pitching coach, Mike, the pitching coach, and Greg now the special advisor to Nolan Ryan. Like Nolan Ryan needs help on pitching.
That's an RBI base hit down the line for Stanton, and the Marlins will jump in front in this game here in the 4th. Stanton gets his first RBI. He did not have a hit in their first 2 games. He has 2 of them tonight, and Miami has taken a 1-0 lead.
Now, Mike Stanton was injured in spring training, and he missed a lot of the spring. He came together towards the end of spring training, had some at-bats, but he entered the season here really not having a lot of good timing. But tonight, he's jumped on a fastball by Latos for a base hit his first time up. That time he hung in there on a count that finally got a breaking ball that he could handle. Big, strong guy with a quick bat. Drives in the first run of the game.
Here are the Marlins playing in their 22nd inning of the year, jumping in front for the first time in 2012. Now it's Logan Morrison. Morrison took that left field job away from Chris Coughlin last year, didn't he? Former Rookie of the Year.
Coughlin really struggled on a number of fronts. I think Ozzie Guillen is going to find a way to get both of them some playing time.
So much so that Coughlin was eventually sent down to their AAA club in New Orleans. Ozzie Guillen signed a 4-year deal with the Marlins. Actually did not manage the White Sox in their last 2 games of what would be his 8th and final season there at the helm of that club. Votto will take it himself. 2 out. Get ready for Reds action 30 minutes before every game with Reds Live here on Fox Sports Ohio. Reds Live is everything a Reds fan needs to know for every game, and it's only on your exclusive home for Reds baseball. Reds Live is presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. So 2 men out. Big crowd on hand here again tonight. The largest regular season crowd ever here at Great American Ballpark. Came on opening day just under 43,000, 42,956. Sellout crowd here tonight. Upper deck jammed. Sun/moon deck jammed. Boathouse jammed. Bleachers packed. Not a seat to be had here this evening. Standing room only, all gone. On a perfect weather night here in early April. Gabby Sanchez called out on strikes to end the second his first time. 1 for 7 on the season. And he hits it in the air to center. Stubbs has a beat. Inning over, but the Marlins strike first. For the first time this year, they lead in a game. 1-0. Miami, middle of the 4th. The 3 National League players to be on the All-Star team, win a Gold Glove and the Silver Slugger Award last year, 2011. There's our own Brandon Phillips, Troy Tulowitzki of the Colorado Rockies, and Matt Kemp of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Quite a trio right there. A couple of middle infielders and an outfielder. Phillips, Tulowitzki, Kemp. Gold Glove, Silver Slugger, All-Stars last year. Cozart up first, home 4th inning. Rounded out to the shortstop his first time, so Cozart now 2 for 5. Votto and Rolen to follow here in the bottom of the fourth. Reds, as they did a year ago, will take this Marlins club on 6 times this year. Last year lost 2 out of 3 here, but won 2 out of 3 down in Miami. They'll take them on 6 times this year as well, these 3, and then they finally will visit the new ballpark down there in Miami in middle September, mid-September, the 14th, 15th, 16th of September. They'll have all the kinks worked out at that new ballpark. Marlins Park seats just over 37,000. By all accounts, things went very well on their opening night down there on Wednesday. They played the 1 game against the Cardinals. Now they're on the road. They go here for these 3, then they go to Philadelphia for 3 games in 4 days before finally starting what will be a 6-game homestand on Friday the 13th. Houston in for 3, and then the Cubs for 3.
Yeah, they were remarking before the game, a couple of the coaches on the Marlins staff I was speaking to, that it was unusual that they're on a road trip where they're going to have 2 off days. Of course, they had yesterday as an off day. They will also have an off day in Philadelphia. You pay for those off days later in the year when you run stretches of 20 games plus.
Hard toward right, carrying well. Off the glove of the right fielder Stanton. There's Cozart around second. There's Cozart into third with a head-first slide and a 3-base hit. And the crowd excited about that one.
Now, the more you see Zach Cozart play, the more you're really going to appreciate how he can move the ball all over the ballpark. The short porch and right gives him a chance to put that ball right up against the wall. Mike Stanton runs out of room and a hit-first triple.
He's not what you'd classify as a speedy runner, but he's a good base runner, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a good base runner. I would call him deceptively quick.
Here's Joey Votto. Reds are down 1-0, but they hope on the verge of at least tying this thing here in the bottom of the fourth. Struck out his first time. Joey still in search of RBI number 1 on the year. He drove in 103 a year ago and was just an exceptional hitter with runners in scoring position last year. Drives this one the other way, and the Reds have taken a 2-1 lead. That is classic Joey Votto right there.
Being classic Joey Votto, just taking the ball the other way, letting it travel deep in the hitting zone, trusting his hands, getting your foot down and driving it out of here.
I mentioned he was an excellent hitter with runners in scoring position last year. In fact, he led the National League in that department, hitting .383, and he's given the Reds the lead as Rolen rounds out the third on a ball handled by Hanley Ramirez. Joey last year 29 over the boards. Number 1 here tonight has given the Reds a 2-1 advantage. Nolasco gave up 20 home runs a year ago. Gives up his first of this year. Jay Bruce, a strikeout victim his first time. You can see the smoke from the PNC power stack still drifting over the ballpark. Leadoff triple by Cozart. 2-run opposite field homer by Votto. Roland grounds out. 2-1 Reds here in the bottom of the 4th. That first lead of the year by the Marlins short-lived. How about the colorful catching mask that we see John Buck wearing back there tonight? That's a target, isn't it?
Not just colorful, but also detailed, I think, with palm trees and the skyline of the city of Miami.
A hockey goalie mask right there.
A little bit of South Beach right there for you.
Reds fans, if a Reds home run hits the Toyota sign during tonight's game, Anthony Dutton from Cincinnati will win this beautiful new Tundra on display here at Great American Ballpark. Register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Back for another shot at it this year. The Tundra on display right above the Reds bullpen area out there. The last couple of years, if the, and they'll do it again, I'm sure this year, if a Reds player does not hit it right at the end of the year, they award that truck to a well-deserving fire department or police department in the area, right?
They do.
Bruce tips that ball right into the glove of John Buck. That's the second out.
If I remember right, they bring out something that looks like the Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
They give it a spin, and all the different representatives from the different emergency vehicle crews and firemen, fire stations are all around the tri-state. And
I think Dusty Baker actually has the honor of spinning the wheel.
Yeah.
Pat Sajak like.
You'll be glad you made that comparison.
Ian Pat. Not bad being either of them. So after the triple and the home run, ground out and a strikeout, and it's Chris Heisey's turn. He fouled out the first baseman Sanchez his first time. With regard to that left field spot, it's almost going to be day in, day out what Dusty feels is the best matchup for his hitter versus their pitchers. Isn't that pretty much what we're hearing?
Yeah, I think you're right. And he thought that this matchup tonight would be a little better for Chris Heisey, obviously. But the question will be, what will happen when one of these guys gets really hot? It's inevitable that when you get a player and he's on fire and he can't miss a thing, that's when you have to recognize it early on and ride that guy as long and hard as you can.
Well, we saw what we hoped to see a lot of during the course of the 2012 season. That was Ludwig driving the ball the other way in the game on Thursday here. Heisey misses on that breaking ball, and he strikes out. 2 of them in the inning, 4 of them in the game for Ricky Nolasco. But we'll take another look as we go out. Number 1 of the year for Joey Votto. Set for Sunglass Sunday. 100 people will receive a free pair of sunglasses courtesy of Fox Sports Ohio and Ride Smart. That's tomorrow. Don't forget, tonight's Ohio Lottery Powerball jackpot is worth $80 million. That's 80 million. The drawing tonight is at 11 p.m. You still have time to get your ticket. Easter Sunday tomorrow here at the ballpark. 1:10 game. Wrap up of this first series of the year will feature Carlos Zambrano against Bronson Arroyo. Will the Reds be going for the sweep? Will they be going for just the series win? Well, right now as we start the fifth, thanks to the Joey Votto 2-run homer, the Reds own a 2-1 lead, trying to make Matt Latos a winner in his Reds debut. Chris, he started Infante off right there with a big old breaking ball.
Yeah, you know what? I don't see Matt Latos shaking Devin Mesoraco off very much. And that's a good sign. Mesoraco's got a good memory, knows that last time up, first pitch he saw was a high fastball, and Infante hit that for a base hit. That's the whole idea. You just want to keep them guessing. Change speeds. Right now, tonight, Matt Lato's got good stuff. He's got control of 4 different pitches that he's thrown over the plate for a strike. Bye-bye.
That'll tie this game as Infante turns on the fastball, sends it off the facing of the second deck. And this is a 2-2 game here in inning number 5.
Well, you learned something about Omar Infante in this ball game that I did not know. I'm sure that there are advanced scouts that could have told me this right from the get-go. But, you know, he had 2 breaking balls previous to that fastball that he hit for a home run. First one was a strike. Then you come back with another one, and then you try to sneak a fastball by him. And, boy, he shows a quick bat on the inner part of the plate. And for a middle infielder, hits this ball a long, long way.
He had 7 last year with the Marlins, 8 in 2010 as an Atlanta Brave, and his first this year, and the Marlins' first home run of the year. Got in this game even at 2. Rolling. And Buck is retired on the first pitch that he sees. He's 0 for 2 in the game, 1 out. The Marlins took a 1-0 lead in the 4th. On an RBI double by Giancarlo Stanton. Reds took a 2-1 lead on a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 4th by Joey Votto, and now the solo shot by Infante has tied things at 2. Here's Ricky Nolasco. Earlier today, the Cardinals fall from the ranks of the undefeated. They played up in Milwaukee. Brewers get the best of them in that game, 6-0, with Zach Greinke getting the win, so they're 2-1. World champion Cardinals will be in here come Monday. Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon. That marks the end of the first 6-game homestand of the season. And in that first road trip, which is a long trip, was a 10-game trip, the Reds also go to St. Louis and play. Washington, St. Louis, and then Chicago. So they see a lot of the Cardinals early. Get your tickets now to see the Reds take on those Cardinals here at Great American Ballpark and be one of the first 7,000 here on April 9th, 10th, or the 11th. Receive a Reds 2012 magnetic schedule and car magnet featuring all-star Brandon Phillips and presented by PNC Bank. For tickets, 513-381-REDS or visit select Kroger locations or Reds.com today. 4 strikeouts now for Matt Latos. 2 men out. Here's Jose Reyes. Grounded out, lined out, 0 for 2 in this game. 3 for 10 on the year. Won the National League Batting Championship a year ago. It's one to the gap in left center. That'll one-hop the wall at the 379 mark. Stubbs will get it back in. Reyes has a double. That's 3 doubles and a home run. 4 extra base hits of the 5 hits that the Marlins have in this game.
He'll end up the season to top that leaderboard on his team, also in extra base hits. If he has his way, he loves to hit the ball the other way. One of those hitters that really will wait a long time, will slash it on the ground to the shortstop or on the hole to the left side, or if you get the ball up, drive it like he does right there at the left center field.
Well, now the Marlins have an opportunity here in the 5th inning to regain the lead. Emilio Bonifacio will try to drive home Reyes. Single to right for Bonifacio his last time. 1 for 2 in the game, 2 for 8 on the season. Rolling way in on the grass at third. Bonifacio's helmet looks like it's already been through the entire season.
All you got to do is get a little slight coating of pine tar or stick them on there, and then everything that gets near will stick. Kind of like Jim Day's hair.
I'm not going to touch that one. Here he goes to third, and he gets there easily. Great jump by Reyes. He swipes the base with 2 out.
A lot of people in baseball think that there's no real reason to do this. Why steal third with 2 outs? A base hit's going to bring you in anyway, but if they're promising every year, I'm going to list them. There are 8 ways that you can score from third for the 2 outs that you can't score from second.
Particularly with his speed.
Yeah. This is where, you put the catcher on notice. And now you take away maybe that breaking ball in the dirt that the pitcher wants. If you get ahead of a hitter right here and you want to throw a breaking ball in the dirt and waste a pitch, you may not want to do that with Reyes at third, because that ball, all it has to do is bound, 10 feet away from home plate, and he'll take the advantage and try to score. I think it's a base worth stealing if you know you're going to get it.
At 3-0, Latos gets a strike in there. Reyes is a former 3-time National League stolen base champion, 05 through 07. Last year he stole 39 with the Mets. Bonifacio draws the walk. Earlier this spring, deadly tornadoes hit our tri-state area and affecting our neighbors throughout all of Reds country. Matthew 25 Ministries will be taking donations through tomorrow's game on the terrace level behind home plate here at Great American Ballpark, with all donations going directly to helping victims of this local tragedy. The Reds and everyone throughout Reds country, thank you for your involvement in the Tornado Relief Fund efforts. You can do that right here at Great American Ballpark. That walk to Bonifacio, the first of the game on either side. Neither of these pitchers prone to many walks at all. Now Latos deals with Hanley Ramirez. Runners at the corners with 2 out. Hanley hit the ball hard as last time into right. Caught by Bruce. 0 for 2 in this game. Hitless on the season and 10 at bats. Latos now approaching 75 pitches.
Well, the Marlins really need Hanley Ramirez to revert back to his old self. The old self of a few years ago when he was popping out 20 to 30 home runs, driving in 100. stealing 27 of 32 stolen bases. Back in one year in 2009, he hit 342, led the league in hitting, and everybody thought from then on he would just be looking at the rest of the league in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, he's gone down, hasn't he, both years since then?
Hit 300 in 2010, only 243 last year. You know, and in all fairness to Hanley, I mean, when he was at the peak, he was still the man in the lineup. And now that he has a better supporting cast, they figure that behind him with Giancarlo Stanton, ahead of him Bonifacio and Jose Reyes, he'll get more fastballs with runners on base, and he's always been a good fastball hitter. But in this count, down in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes to Latos, I would not be waiting for a fastball here if I'm Hanley Ramirez.
There's those numbers that Chris was talking about. Last year he had some issues with his shoulder. He missed some games. Overflow crowd here at Great American Ballpark trying to help Latos get the final out here in the top of the 5th. Runner going. And Mesoraco saved a run with a block there. That's a stolen base for Bonifacio, his second of the game.
Well, you've got to be confident in yourself if you're a catcher back there. You know the best pitch in this situation is a breaking ball to Hanley Ramirez. You don't want him to hang it, so you go out and you tell him, listen, you have confidence in me. You throw it in the dirt, and I will block it. You just give me your best breaking ball you can.
So now a hit could mean a pair for this Miami club. We're 2-2 in the in the top half of the 5th inning. Marlins scored their first run of this game in the 4th. Tied it on a home run by Omar Infante here in the 5th.
Little cat and mouse game being played now with Ramirez. He gets set. Latos steps off. Latos gets set. Ramirez asks for time. Good spot for a fastball right there. You had an extra pitch in the at-bat, and you've got a base open. I mean, there's no reason right here with a former batting champion while you lay one right down Broadway with a couple of guys on base. I imagine they're going to go back to the breaking ball.
Run out the string now on Ramirez. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Stanton waiting on deck. He missed, not by much, on the inner part of the plate, and Ramirez jogs down the first. Back-to-back walks for Latos.
That is Logan Ondrusek, who just got the call from Brian Price before Brian now will run out to the mound and talk to Latos. Maybe give the reliever a little bit of time to warm up and also try to settle Latos down.
76 pitches so far for Latos. Well, he kind of wanted the call from Ted Baird on that, didn't he?
He did. I think this is a great time for Brian Price to go out there and just kind of, as George Grant used to say, give him a checkup from the neck up. Kind of settle him down a little bit. Say, hey, there's no damage done right here. You know what you want to do with this guy. We've gone over the scouting report with Giancarlo Stanton. Unfortunately for Latos tonight, he's had 2 good swings and he's picked up 2 of the Marlins hits.
Single in the 2nd, RBI double in the 4th. To Giancarlo Stanton's credit thus far tonight. He bats with the bases loaded. after the Infante home run, Latos was able to get Buck on a ground out in the pitch, and Nolasco swinging. And then Reyes double, stole third. Bonifacio walked, stole second. Ramirez walked on a 3-2 pitch, so they're loaded. And Mesoraco is getting a workout back there behind the plate.
He's the one calling those breaking balls, and he knows darn well that you'd rather have him in the dirt and blocked rather than hanging right down Broadway about thigh high. At some point, you got to throw him a strike.
And he does so right there.
So I am just stunned that Giancarlo Stanton didn't leave the earth swinging at that pitch.
Looked like he was taking all the way, didn't it?
It's the kind of pitch you dream about when you're a slugger. Tried to take something off and throw a changeup. And Stanton again in control of the count.
Marlins a pitch away here from regaining the lead. Bases loaded, 2 out, and a 3-1 count on Giancarlo Stanton. Into left center, a hit. 1 run scores. 2nd run scores. 2-run single for Stanton. He is 3 for 3 in this game. This has been a 3-run inning, and the Marlins now lead by a pair at 4-2.
Well, you had to throw him a strike on a 3-1 count. They had nowhere to put him, and he got one up just like he did the previous time to Giancarlo Stanton, and right there, a line drive. Actually, Matt Latos might be fortunate that that's all there was a single and a couple of runs in, because that is right in Stanton's wheelhouse. Now they're going to send out Mesoraco to talk to him a little bit. I'm wondering if Dusty Baker's going to make a change right here.
Here he comes out of the dugout, and that will indeed be the end of the line in his first Reds start for the right-hander Matt Latos. Andrusik has been throwing in the bullpen. 8th man to come to the plate in this inning will be Logan Morrison, but it will not be against Matt Latos. Time for our skyline call to the bullpen. Pitching change. Latos out. Andrusik in. In the first, and in fact through 3 it faced just 1 over the minimum, but in the end he goes 4 2/3, giving up 4 runs thus far, 7 hits, a couple of walks, 4 strikeouts.
Well, not the way he wanted his debut as a Red to start, I can tell you that, but it simply boils down to this for Matt Latos. He simply was overthrowing that breaking ball, and whereas earlier in the game he was able to throw that slider for a strike, get some strikeouts, some misses, he overthrows it, fires it in the dirt, gets behind the count, has to come in with a fastball, and at this level, you can't always get away with it. The Logan Ondrusek in now, the big tall right-hander, 6 feet 8 inches from Shiner, Texas, will take over for his predecessor, who is also a tall guy at 6'6". So Dusty Baker going up a couple of inches, hoping to get out of this inning with Logan Ondrusek.
3rd year of the Reds for Ondrusek. He's made 60+ appearances in each of his first 2 years, and he'll face Logan Morrison. The runners at the corners and 2 men out. 3 in thus far for Ozzie Guillen's club, and they now lead 4-2. They've out hit the Reds 7-3. Dusty Baker had hoped, got his wish, that he did not need to use Ondrusek on Thursday, opening day. That his back had stiffened up a little bit late in spring training, but did not have to use him Thursday. He was able to get treatment on Friday and again today, and I talked to him in the clubhouse before the game today. He said feeling great today.
Well, he's got a lot of options, Dusty Baker has. He's got a fully rested bullpen down there. He's got a couple extra right-handers and Alfredo Simon and Jose Arredondo.
Ondrusek falls behind 3-0, so he's a pitch away now from reloading the bases.
Well, you know, this is still jitter time. I mean, the last time these guys had the baseball, it was spring training. The games really didn't mean anything. You're just trying to get your work in and get out. All of a sudden now you flip the switch and it's for real. And you're going to have a few butterflies.
3-1. Two. Ondrusek an ERA of under 2 during the spring, including a stretch in which he did not allow a run in any of his last 6 appearances, covering 7 innings. Making his 2012 debut here in the top of the 5th. And he walks Morrison. 3 walks now in the inning by Reds pitching. We invite you to follow the Reds with the MLB.com @BAT12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @BAT to 31826 or visit Reds.com for details. Here's Gabby Sanchez becoming the 9th man to bat in this inning. Marlins have scored 3. For the 2nd time in the frame, have the bases loaded.
You get an out right here and you limit the damage. You still get out of here. Yeah, you're down by a couple of runs. You got a lot of baseball to play. But this is a key at bat here for Ondrusek and the Reds.
Sanchez 0 for 2 in this game, 1 for 8 on the year.
Well, that's the part of the strike zone where Ondrusek makes his living. Big tall guy like that works the downward plane. You want to have that ball coming down and stay right down around the knees. Barely missed on that one.
He's a guy that'll tell you at the end of the year last year he just flat wore out, didn't he?
Yeah. 66 games last year.
Rolling nicely to his left, gets to that ball. They get the force out at second on Morrison, ending the top of the 5th. But the Marlins come up with 3 and own a 2-run lead. Some players and coaches. Reds Live brought to you by Kings Honda in the Kings Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com. Disappointed Matt Latos heads to the clubhouse. His final line, 4 2/3. 4 runs all earned, 7 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts through 81 pitches. Gave up the home run ball to Omar Infante. Marlins now lead 4-2 as Stubbs leads it off. Tests the arm again of Jose Reyes with no luck. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Long stretch in that dugout for Ricky Nolasco, who now owns a 4-2 lead. He retired the first 7 he faced, 9 of the first 10 before he was touched up for the triple by Cozart and the 2-run homer by Votto. Since then, 4 in a row. He is now with Mesoraco. Willie Harris will make his Reds debut. Waits on deck. Reds have Sam LeCure throwing in the bullpen. So Andrusa came on, faced 2 batters, retired 1 of them. Sam LeCure will take over come the 6th inning. There's a Rocco to left center, but that ball handled by Morrison. 2 out. Tomorrow on Fox Sports Ohio after the game, join Tom Brokaw for Boys in the Hall, the personal stories of some of baseball's greatest legends. This week it's Cleveland Indians Hall of Fame right-hander Rapid Bob Feller. Boys in the Hall, Sundays, presented by Subway Restaurants, where winners eat. Now Willie Harris will bat for Andrusic, and in doing so makes his Reds debut here in inning number 5. Non-roster invitee who made the Reds team out of spring training. Former Mets player from a year ago. The only left-handed hitter that Dusty has available to him off his bench.
He'll give you good at bat, Willie Harris. Willie Harris will. Native of Cairo, Georgia. That, if you remember, is also the birthplace of Jackie Robinson.
I did not know that.
Originally picked by the Baltimore Orioles out of Kennesaw State University. Good fastball hitter.
Hit 264 this spring, and it's not that so much that was impressive. As you said, he battled up there during almost every AB.
Yeah, he does, and he's got to figure that he will be used as a utility player. Plays all over the place, coming off the bench.
Throws batted ball here and flies to right, and caught by Stanton. And a 6-pitch inning right there by Ricky Nolasco sends this game into inning number 6 with the Marlins in front by a pair. Sports Ohio has been brought to you by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By CCHMC, Cincinnati Children's, in the top 10 for all selected pediatric specialties in U.S. News and World Report's 2010 Best Children's Hospitals. And by the dependable, long-lasting Chevy Silverado and your tri-state Chevy dealers. 4-2 Marlins in front as we enter inning number 6. Reds employ their third pitcher of the game. It's the right-hander, Sam LeCure.
Well, Sam LeCure was kind of a jack-of-all-trades last year after being primarily a starter in the minor leagues, coming up in 2010, getting 6 starts in his 15 games. He was primarily in relief last year, although he did have 4 starts overall. The long man did not have a great spring, but he was told early on that he had the team made. Just get yourself ready. Nice fastball, not afraid to pitch inside. Good changeup and curveball.
And that Goose Gossage look out there when he has the big mustache and he's unshaven like he is tonight. He faces Omar Infante, representing the number 7 hitter in the lineup. There's that Goose Gossage look. Infante a double and a home run tonight. Quiet in their first 2 games, but not so this evening. Then the catcher, John Buck, then the pitcher spot. Well, if you're a Marlins guy in that dugout down there on the third base side, you got to love the job that Ricky Nolasco did come the bottom of the 5th, don't you?
Well, another 1-2-3 inning. He's had a number of those, and a lot of easy innings as well.
Cozart, leadoff man, retired. Here's John Buck. He's 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out, and 1 for 8 on the season. You're one of those guys who actually was tougher last year against left-handers than right-handers. Lefties hit just 186 against him.
One of the reasons for that is that he's not afraid to pitch inside. He would come right in there on a left-hander and would set up his changeup. And he got a lot of left-handers out with that changeup that would kind of fade away from him. They would pull off of it anticipating a fastball and had a lot of easy outs that way. He's got very good control. That's the key for LeCure.
Great placement right there, right at the knees. He's ahead of Buck 1 and 2.
There's the numbers that you were talking about. The success he had against left-handers. Boy, a left-handed pitcher would be proud of those numbers.
Sure would. Well, that appeared to be in the same spot, and Ted Barrett says no, just a little bit lower. 2 and 2. Brandon Phillips. Buck hit it hard. Brandon in the right spot. 2 out. It's MLB on Fox season. Fox Sports is proud to support Boys and Girls Clubs of America, a place where youth can reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. To learn more, please visit greatfutures.org/Fox Sports. Two out from Nolasco. Matt Latos had a 1-2-3 inning in the first. The Marlins have not gone down in order since then. LeCure an out away from getting that accomplished here in inning number 6. And now Sam's a strike away from a 1-2-3 top of the 6th inning. Reds will have the top of the order up in the bottom half. That means Phillips, Cozart, and Votto. But this half inning does not end as Nolasco, who hit under 100 a year ago, gets a 2-out base hit here. The Marlins have had at least one hit now in each of the last 5 innings.
Well, you know, there was no panic on the face of Ozzie Guillen through the first couple of games where their offense was simply stifled by the pitching they saw. They saw a great pitching performance by the Cardinals when Kyle Loesch went out and shut them down. They saw another and almost equally as great pitching performance by Johnny Cueto. But he knows his team will score some runs.
Well, it'll be a battle of two different types of pitchers here tomorrow afternoon, won't it? Zambrano on one side, Arroyo on the other.
Yeah. Both right-handed, but the similarity stops about there.
All one to Reyes. Rolling again, cheating in on the grass at third. Protect against the bunt from this speedy 28-year-old.
And you have to do that just about every time. I mean, until there are 2 strikes, he is always a threat to lay a bunt down. Even when in this situation, runner on first base, pitcher, why wouldn't you sit back, swing away, try to pop one in the corner, maybe pop one out of here? But Jose Reyes knows that his game is his wheels. And just extend the inning. Let the next guy do the same thing. Then bring up the boppers.
Defending National League batting champion as a Met 1 year ago, Reyes. Phillips gets the chance. They get the force out, and the inning is over. 1 man left in the inning and 6 in the game for the Marlins. 4-2 Miami, middle of the 6th. tonight. Votto gives the Reds a 2-1 lead. That was in the bottom of the fourth. His first of the year. Omar Infante with his first tied things to lead off the top of the fifth. And then later in the inning, 2-run single by Giancarlo Stanton capped off a 3-run top of the fifth for Miami. They lead 4-2 as the Reds come calling here in the bottom of the sixth on Ricky Nolasco.
Well, they come calling, Jim, with the top of the order, too. Good time for the Reds maybe to break up the momentum that Nolasco has been able to develop. Since that Votto home run, he's retired 6 in a row. Maybe take a few more pitches, work him a little bit more. The Reds tonight have been kind of feeding right into Nolasco's hand, being very aggressive at the plate. And against a guy that changes speeds, has good control like Nolasco does, sometimes you're doing him a favor by not seeing as many pitches as you normally would.
Nolasco was able to retire their side in order in the fifth on only 6 pitches. Works here on Phillips.
I mean, the Reds are hitters. They're not going to sit back and look for a walk. But tonight, 11 of the 18 Reds that have made at-bats, Nolasco's have seen 3 pitches or less. He's had 3 outs on 1 pitch, 6 outs on 2 pitches, and 2 outs on 3 pitches. So the Reds aren't working him deep in the count.
He's thrown just 63 pitches as he works here in the 6th inning.
Now, there's some guys that you simply need to be aggressive against, because if you sit back and get a 0-2 count, their stuff is so good, or they have a slider so awful that, or so efficient that you don't want to get behind the count. And maybe that was the game plan for the Reds tonight. But Nolasco's been around the zone exactly where he wants to. He's changed speeds very nicely. Has made only one mistake, if that you want to call it that, the one ball that Joey Votto hit out of here.
Boy, Reyes has been busy, and this time he bobbles the ball. And the tying run, and Cozart will come to the plate. Phillips is aboard. E6.
It'd have been interesting to see if actually had Reyes fielded that ball cleanly. He had to go quite a ways to his right to get to it. We've seen him make that play just about all night long. Took a bad hop on him, or at least came up on him a little bit. I'm not so sure, having been out there on that field, that there's even a bad hop in that infield. It is a very nicely maintained infield.
Here's Cozart. Tripled to right his last time. Was on when Votto hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Got him rustling around down in the Marlins bullpen a little bit.
Well, they have had, despite losing their first 2 games, quality starts in each of those losses. Of course, the game here, Burley went 6, allowed 2 runs, 7 hits. Josh Johnson on opening day against the Cardinals, 3 runs in 6 innings, and then they've got the good outing tonight from Nolasco.
Early in the year, when you have those long outings by starters, it's almost like a double-edged sword. In one respect, you want your starter to go deep. On the other hand, you've got guys that haven't pitched in spring training, and all of a sudden you look up after a day off, a couple of well-pitched games. It's been 4 or 5 days since your relievers have been in the ball game.
Another hit for Zach Cozart, his second of the night. He's had back-to-back multi-hit games in the first 2 contests of the year, and here comes Votto with 2 on, nobody out.
Dusty Baker told Zach Cozart at the beginning of the year in spring training, when he was deemed A-OK to play in ball games and be 100% after his elbow surgery, that we need a little bit more out of our shortstop position. We need more action out of that shortstop spot. And Cozart has taken that to heart here in the first couple of ball games.
Randy St. Clair, the pitching coach, goes to the mound as we take a look at our Burger King in-game box score from tonight's contest. Those are 2 hits opening day, 2 more hits tonight. Votto up there, his blast back in the 4th, gave the Reds the lead. He's up in a big RBI opportunity again here. Reds have 4 hits. Marlins have 8. They lead 4-2.
Well, the ball that Joey Votto hit out of the ballpark off Ricky Nolasco the last time up was a high fastball on the outer third of the plate. Of all the guys in the Reds lineup to look up and see right here with just a 2-run lead and a couple of guys on, Votto is not the guy that Nolasco wants to see.
Infante, Reyes, Sanchez, 4-6-3 on the double play ball. Hit into by Joey Votto. It does move Phillips to third, but he's there now with 2 out.
Excellent pitch by Nolasco there. Pulled the string, got a changeup. Maybe Votto looking for a fastball. Got out ahead of it just a little bit and rolled over on it. Take a look at the pitch. Good downward action on this pitch. He's trying to make Votto hit the top half of the ball, and he does exactly that.
So here's Rolen. He's nothing out of 2 tonight. Line to short, grounded to third. He represents the tying run here in the home 6th. Rolen 1 for 5 on the season. That action, by the way, in the Marlins bullpen. Left-hander Mike Dunn, right-hander Ryan Webb. Let's see now what Nolasco comes with here. Not walked anyone in this game. Representing the tying run is Scott Rolen. Reyes on the outfield grass, guns it across, and Rolen is out, and the inning is over. It had promise at the start, 2 on, no one out, but Nolasco works out of it. We are through 6. The Reds down by a pair. Park coming up on Tuesday, April the 24th. That's Bark in the Park night presented by Imes. Blue Dogs invited as well. Make sure you arrive early. Check out all the great samples and activities for you and your dog in the fan zone. Plus, the first 5,000 pet owners receive a free collapsible pet bowl. For more information on Bark in the Park and to purchase tickets, you can call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com/dogday.
I was wondering what we were doing with our super slow-mo camera. Now I know.
That looked like a late night prank on that young dog, didn't it? A blue dog.
Oh, I think they breed them like that now.
You have a blue dog, do you?
Not yet.
Bonifacio leads it off here in the 7th. 4 runs, 8 hits for the Marlins. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Reds. Bonifacio scored a pair, stolen a couple tonight. Sam LeCure, his second inning of work. He had a 4-batter 6th. Pitcher spot due up 5th in the 7th inning, but this would figure to be it for Sam. Latos 4 2/3, 4 runs, 7 hits. Andrusic 1/3 of an inning, a walk. Second inning for Sam LeCure. Bill Bray, left-hander. Right-hander Jose Arredondo walking behind him but not loosening. Arredondo has joined Bray in the bullpen, so it's a lefty Bill Bray, the right-hander Arredondo. Sam came after him. Bonifacio fouls it away to stay alive. Ramirez and Giancarlo Stanton here in the Marlins 7th inning. What city was named one of the top 3 places to visit in 2012? That would be Cincinnati. Book your weekend getaway at CincinnatiUSA.com. Mesoraco and LeCure talk things over. Big crowd hopes they have something left to cheer about in this game. We're in the top of the 7th. They'll hang around afterwards for a big fireworks show. Bonifacio, as he does so often, slaps at that ball, and into left it goes. Hit number 9 for Miami tonight.
Having Reyes and Bonifacio at the top of the lineup is almost like having a couple of clones come up there. They both like to slap the ball the other way. They're switch hitters, Reyes and Bonifacio. Not a whole lot of pop out of Bonifacio. He's got, what, 4 or 5 home runs last year. But he'll steal the base. Had 40 bags last year. And if Ozzie Guillen wants to push the running game right here, this would not be a bad time to do it.
You've got Ramirez at the plate. He's 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Bonifacio already has 2 steals in this game, and the Marlins are 3 for 3 tonight.
Well, the key for Hanley Ramirez is to get him some fastballs. And the more that Reyes gets on base and the more that Bonifacio gets on base ahead of him, pitchers are going to be concerned about a stolen base. So you throw more fastballs to get it to the catcher in time. And so you've got to figure he will see fastballs in this at bat like he did on the first pitch from McCure.
Pretty good lead over there by the Marlins center fielder. Now 1 ball, 1 strike.
Bonifacio really during his career has been more of a leadoff hitter than he has batted elsewhere in the lineup. Last year, by far the majority of games he played, he was a leadoff hitter. So he'll steal a bag like a leadoff guy too.
Stubbs will turn and watch this ball sail over his head and into the grassy area in straightaway center for Hanley Ramirez. His first hit of the year is a 2-run homer, and the Reds, who once led 2-1, now trail 6-2 here in the 7th.
Well, he got the fastball. I've got to figure part of the reason he did was that Bonifacio was on first base and the Reds were trying to keep him from getting a stolen base. So on a 1-1 count, you give him a fastball, hoping that he's going to roll over on it. He did not. He hits it straight away center field. And in this ballpark, it's a home run. Down in Miami, that ball is probably at the warning track, but a 6-2 lead now for the Marlins.
They hit their first 2 home runs of the year here tonight. A line drive. This one almost handcuffed Cozart at short. So the slap hit by Bonifacio, the home run by Hanley Ramirez, a line out by Stanton. Here's Logan Morrison. Morrison been on once. He walked as the first of 2 batters to face Logan Ondrusek back in the 5th. He's up here in the 7th. Play him to pull, and that's what he does, and Phillips will throw him out for out number 2. Reminder about tomorrow's game. It starts at 1:10 here at Great American Ballpark. Gates open at 11:40. Finale of this opening 3-game series. Easter Sunday game. The Easter Bunny will be here. First 8,000 youngsters 12 and under receive the Reds Easter tin filled with jelly beans, presented by Meijer. The Meijer Family Day tomorrow. In the pitching matchup, the right-hander Carlos Zambrano, acquired from the Cubs, against right-hander Bronson Arroyo. Both were 9-game winners a year ago. See, Zambrano starts down to only 24. He had that incident late in the year with the Cubs where he said he was, quote, retiring, quitting.
Well, they figured that Ozzie Guillen, fellow Venezuelan, might be able to handle him a little bit better than he was handled in Chicago. Of course, everything's fine until something goes wrong, and you find out what really happens.
Bronson Arroyo did not get to his 200 innings last year. He fell 1 inning short, but boy, he made a charge late, didn't he? 17 innings in his last 2 outings of the year, but just fell an inning shy. Trying to make it 7 straight years of 200 innings plus. He'll make his 12th debut here tomorrow afternoon. Now the Reds have a right-hander, Alfredo Simon, up and throwing in the bullpen. Young man acquired off waivers from the Baltimore Orioles right at the end of spring training. Stubbs goes to the knee and makes the catch. So after the home run, 3 in a row by Sam LeCure, but the home run by Ramirez gives the Marlins a 6-2 lead at stretch time. Gets 5 hours of coverage featuring our main event, Gustafson versus Silva. That's Saturday, April the 14th, beginning at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Fuel. Sellout crowd here tonight, as it was on opening day. Bruce leads things off. That ball off the chest of Sanchez, but Nolasco gets over there covering, and here he is in the 7th inning, sitting at only 76 pitches so far, Ricky Nolasco.
Well, wonderful things happen for a pitcher if you throw strikes. If you're able to change speeds on top of that and work fast, now all of a sudden you got a combination where you will go deep into a ball game very quickly with very few pitches.
Heisey is fouled out, struck out. Ricky Nolasco last year became the Marlins all-time strikeout leader in a game, ironically enough, against the Reds. Heisey, who is a pretty good bunter, fouls that one away. It came on the 23rd of August. He broke the record of Dontrell Willis. Nolasco started that game against Johnny Cueto. Willis was in the dugout. Enters this game at 786 strikeouts in his Marlins career, tops on their list. Nicely done by Heisey. That thing will die right in the grass, and Chris has himself a bunt single. For the Reds, that's only their 5th hit.
Well, he was being challenged by Hanley Ramirez at third base, who was not up front at all. He was an even or maybe even a step or two behind the bag at third, and Heisey said, hey, if you're going to give me that much room, I'll lay one down. Does not have to be a perfect bunt. Heisey, with above average speed, gets a base runner.
For a guy that has his power, he's a very good bunter, isn't he?
No reason why not to be.
They work on it every day.
A little stomp on ball action by Ramirez at the very end of that. See that?
Reyes getting out at second. That is the only one they get. Stubbs aboard with 2 out. Devin Mesoraco will bat. Miguel Cairo comes out into the on-deck circle. He gets up there. It'll be his first appearance of the year. Nolasco due up third in the 8th inning. He's sitting at only 81 pitches, and so if he gets the out here from Mesoraco, you wonder if he will stay in or he will be lifted in the top of the 8th. What would you do? What do you
leave
think?
him in there.
Yeah.
These guys have all gone more than 100 pitches so far. I was talking to Randy St. Clair before the ball game, the Marlins pitching coach, and he said, hey, these guys are ready to go. I'm not going to run them out there for 120, but they certainly can go to 105 to 110.
Infante will throw out Mesoraco at first, and the inning comes to an end. An 8-pitch inning that time for Ricky Nolasco, and we go to the 8th with the Marlins leading 6-2. Machine exhibit presented by Dinsmore and Scholl at the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum. This new exhibit will bring the unforgettable team to life like never before with rare artifacts, compelling stories, and visuals. It's a must-see for all ages and is now open at the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum. For more information, visit redsmuseum.org today. New pitcher on for the Reds, their 4th of this game. Making his Reds debut is Alfredo Simon, the former Baltimore Oriole.
Now, I've always pronounced it Alfredo Simon, but we've been corrected that it is Alfredo Simon. Of course, Simon would be more of the Spanish pronunciation, of which I am no expert. So Alfredo Simon, formerly of the Baltimore Orioles. Reds picked him up on waivers right between the time that the spring training ended and the regular season began. Hard throwing right-hander.
Picked him up, a couple of days before the season began. He's 30 years old. He's from the Dominican. Still lives down there. Last year, 23 games with Baltimore, 16 as a starter. And he gives up this blast off the bat of Infante to the wall in left and off the wall. Heisey made a good effort for that ball but didn't get it. Here's Infante chugging toward third. He is in there with a slide, and Omar Infante is now just a single away from hitting for the cycle tonight. A double, a homer, and now a triple leads off the 8th.
He's a one-man wrecking crew. Infante is. Boy, he's got a quick bat on the inner part of the plate. Looks like this ball is going to stay in playable area, but it gets high enough on the wall that Heisey can't get to it. Boy, Heisey getting up there, too.
Sure did. There's John Buck. He's 0 for 3.
Could use one of those softball gloves on that try.
Had to bring the infield in. Trying to keep it a 4-run game. They've been out hit now 11-5. It's Marlins club, which had 1 run scored, 7 hits in its first 2 games. Finally scored another run in the 4th tonight. 3 more in the 5th, 2 more in the 7th. They lead this game 6-2 here in the top of the 8th. Ricky Nolasco, by the way, is on deck. Buck hits one hard and into the alley in the left center field, and that ball leaves the park. The 3rd home run of the night for this Miami Marlins bunch. First hit of this game for Buck, his 2nd of the year, and a 2-run 8th inning now means an 8-2 Marlins lead.
Very hard off Sam LeCure in the last inning, although they only got a couple of runs. Here they've hit the ball hard, and 2 batters that Simon has faced, so they both finding a sweet spot.
Here's Nolasco.
Just goes to show you that 94 miles an hour nowadays is hitting speed. It used to be if you threw 94 miles an hour, you were blowing it by everybody. Now these hitters have gotten so quick. The bats that they carry to the plate are light. It's all about bat speed, waiting on the ball, using your wrist, getting the bat through the zone quickly. And since so many pitchers are now throwing in the low to mid 90s, I think a lot of hitters are just getting used to it. You've got to have a little breaking ball working.
That's exactly what Simon has there as he gets Nolasco looking for the first out of the 8th. Jose Reyes now will bat. Well, Dusty Baker made the comment that he really didn't know how he was going to use Simon. He'd never seen him pitch before and was relying on information from his scouts. Ball club came out of spring training. It was Todd Frazier who was going to make this club, and they were going to go with 11 pitchers, but they claimed Simon off waivers. He makes the club, and before they could play the game, Frazier is sent down to Louisville. So they had 12 pitchers, 13 position players. Simon was a guy 2 years ago. He saved 17 games for the Baltimore Orioles. Check swing. Reyes is rung up by Ted Barrett. So after the triple and the home run, back-to-back strikeouts by Simon.
Well, back-to-back strikeouts, both those pitches that have been recorded in strikeouts have come as breaking balls. I'm not sure if that was a splitter or the slider. He'll throw both.
Bonifacio has been a thorn in the side of the Reds tonight. Scored 3 times, has a couple of hits, couple of steals. He takes care of Bonifacio, so he strikes out 3, does Alfredo Simon in the inning. But more damage done. The Marlins now lead 8-2. Reds coming up in the bottom of the 8th. Ricky Nolasco has been dominant from the pitching standpoint for the Miami Marlins. He's allowed the Reds 2 runs on 5 hits. He has not walked anyone. He has struck out 4. And he's still in the game as he works in the bottom of the 8th. He'll face Wilson Valdez to lead things off. Valdez making his Reds debut. Pinch hitting for Alfredo Simon here in the bottom of the 8th. Valdez, the former Philly, acquired in a trade before spring training began. Very versatile. Plays the infield spots, can play the outfield. During the spring, he hit .314. Reyes been awfully busy out there at short tonight, and he throws out Wilson Valdez for the first out here in the bottom of the 8th. Here's Brandon Phillips. Now the left-hander Randy Choate. Right-hander Edward Mujica throwing in the Marlins bullpen. Phillips tonight 0 for 3, reached on an error his last time. Reds trailed 4-2 when he reached on that error in the bottom of the 6th to get that inning started. Then when Cozart singled in the left, big crowd of over 41,000 thought they had something going. But Nolasco was able to get the double play ball off the bat of Votto, rolling on a ground ball to short. quell that Reds uprising. Now Phillips shoots one to the right side. Diving stop to his left. Infante. And Phillips is thrown out. A little bit of his own medicine right there. How many times has he done that to opposing batters? He gets it done to him.
You know, you got to figure that a second baseman like Omar Infante comes in here and he realizes that in that other dugout is the Gold Glove winner for the last couple of seasons here at second base, a Silver Slugger, and a guy that he's going to show that, you know what, I'm a pretty good player too. Sometimes players ratchet their games up a little bit when their counterpart on the other team is known as the guy, and that's what Brandon Phillips is. And Infante has had one heck of a night.
Now, he was an all-star, what, a couple years ago with Atlanta. Cozart 2 for 3 tonight, a single and a triple and a run scored. He's had back-to-back multi-hit games. Good start for the young man. And he booms one here down the left field line. And a home run. Boy, oh boy, did he turn on that thing. Get it out of here in a hurry. Zach Cozart with a bomb to left field, making it an 8-3 game. He hit 2 last year with the Reds. He gets the second home run of the night for Cincinnati and a 3-hit night.
Boy, he is quick on an inside fastball right there. That ball looked like it may have even been off the plate. Brings his hands in, gets the sweet part of the bat on it. An impressive night for the Reds' young shortstop.
Velasco's been touched up for 2 long balls tonight. One from the man at the plate now, Votto. The other from Cozart. 8-3. Reds down by 5. Here's Joey Votto. He's quickly down 2 strikes. Joey's home run came back in the 4th inning. The 116th he has hit as a Reds first baseman. 5th on the all-time list. He breaks a tie with Dan Dreesen. Now in that department, just 1 behind Sean Casey. All-time leader, of course. Big clue, Ted Kluszewski, 249. Then Tony Perez, then Lee May. Exclusive club right there, to be sure. Cueto watching this one with interest after his solid opening day performance. 7 innings, no runs, 3 hits. He'll get his next start. The wrap up of that series against the Cardinals on Wednesday afternoon. There was initial thought that maybe the Reds would skip the number 5 spot in their rotation and go back to Cueto, but all 5 starters will go in order. Here comes Nolasco now with his 100th pitch of the night. Strikes out for the 2nd time this evening, so the home run does inch the Reds closer. But as we go to the 9th, 8-3, Marlins in front. 162, so the Reds, who drew almost 43,000 on opening day, have now drawn over 80,000 for the first 2 games, and they still have some work to do in this one if they are to send this crowd after the big fireworks show after the game home happy. They trail 8-3. Wilson Valdez, who pinch hit, stays in the game at shortstop. Jose Arredondo becomes pitcher number 5. Hanley Ramirez will lead it off. His 2-run homer in the 7th inning made it a 6-2 game in favor of Miami. You know, Chris, when Ryan Madson went down, a number of people's names were thrown around as potential closing candidates, and Arredondo was one of them.
Well, I still think that position is pretty much wide open. I mean, it depends, of course, on the game situation, which bullpenner is available, so on and so forth. But they've got high hopes for Jose Arredondo this year. He's now 2 years removed from Tommy John surgery. He got stronger as the year went on last year. As far as velocity goes, it's back to where he once was when he was pitching lights out baseball for the Angels. And the problem with Arredondo when he ran into problems last year was he simply walked too many batters. He'd get out there, he walked the leadoff hitter, and next thing you know, he puts himself in some problems. But he had a good spring. And he's pretty much kept that split finger pitch, which is his calling card, on Hanley Ramirez here in this at bat. Imagine after Ramirez hit that ball off of Simon in the last inning, or may make it Sam LeCure a couple innings ago. Devin Mesoraco wants to give them all breaking balls.
That's 2-2 now to Hanley Ramirez. His first hit of the season was that 2-run homer in the 7th. Arredondo and the Reds hope for a quick top of the 9th, and then in the bottom half they'll send up the middle of the order. That means Rowland, Bruce, and Heisey. This Marlins club with their colors look a bit like with the black and orange the Baltimore Orioles, although they have multiple colors in that new logo. Yellow, blue, red, orange.
You've got pants like that, don't you?
I'll wear them tomorrow if you'd like.
That's okay.
Three and two now. Remind you a little bit of the old Houston Astros uniforms with those rainbows that they had.
Billy Hatcher knows those.
He sure does. That ball scorched past third base. Tim McClellan, the third base umpire down there, worked the plate on opening day. Calmly called that a foul ball. Tim McClellan now in his 30th year as a major league umpire. Make no mistake about it, though, he can make it tough on you to know if he's calling a pitch a strike, can't he? He has that kind of late hidden strike call. Arredondo walks the leadoff man here in the ninth. There's that rainbow jersey, the first base coach of the Reds.
The backwards home run trot. Wow.
Billy Hatcher, former Astro, but of course hero with the Reds in the postseason.
That looked like the postseason where he hit about 800, didn't he? He still got it. Hatch does. Hit a home run in a fantasy camp this year.
Wow. Not off you.
No. I picked my teammates. He was on my team. He and Eddie Taubensee, the only former Reds who are now instructors to be able to go deep.
In case you're wondering, that was indeed the elbow pad, the protective elbow pad of Stanton that came off when he fouled that ball away. So strong, he ripped off the Velcro. Came back in the same spot, and that time he couldn't catch up.
Well, he came back with a splitter that time and just mixed up speed on him.
8th strikeout for Reds pitching tonight. Double play would end this inning. Logan Morrison, who's 0 for 3 with a walk, is up there. Two balls and no strikes to Morrison. Arredondo last year, 3.23 ERA in 53 games. His first year appearing for the Reds, his second with the team. Remember, they signed him in 2010 knowing he was undergoing Tommy John surgery. Did not pitch that year. Now he walks his second of the inning. In case you're wondering about the bottom of the ninth in terms of Nolasco, the Marlins do have their new closer, Heath Bell. There's a look at Bell, who has been throwing in their bullpen. He would not enter the game in a save situation. Gabby Sanchez bats 2 on with 1 out. Arredondo misses high. He walked 31 in 53 innings last year.
Well, the one problem with throwing your off-speed pitch as your splitter, that's a pitch that is really better off, that looks like a strike but really isn't a strike. Throw it down around the knees so it looks like it might be a fastball, but by the time it gets to the plate, it sometimes will hit the dish. So you got to mix up just enough fastballs to get those guys swinging at it. I guess the best ever at that was Bruce Sutter. Every time you would take a low pitch, it was a fastball for a strike. Every time you'd swing at that low pitch, it was a splitter that would explode down in the dirt.
Is he pretty much the guy that is credited with first throwing the splitter?
I think so.
Hall of Famer now, of course. Arredondo gets a strike in there. He's at 2-1. Omar Infante waits on deck. Barring a double play ball, he will have an at bat, which he will try to become the first Marlin in franchise history, this being their 20th year, to hit for the cycle. Hammered down the left field side, but foul. Sanchez tonight has struck out, flied out, hit into a force play, flied out again, 0 for 4, now 1 for 10 on the season. Reds have used Latos on Drusick, LeCure, Simon, and now Arredondo on the hill here tonight. Arredondo has already walked 2. Now he's in danger of walking a 3rd. He's gone full to Gabby Sanchez. Helped him out, does Sanchez. He chased one head high and didn't get it. That's a strikeout, the second out of the inning. So here now is Omar Infante. Double back in the 3rd. Solo home run in inning number 5. That tied the game at 2. And a triple right in front of the John Buck 2-run homer in the 8th. So he is a mere single away from hitting for the cycle. He would be the first Marlin to ever accomplish the feat. Marlins and the Padres, the only franchises that do not have a player that has hit for the cycle. Well, let's hope we keep it that way right here. 3 for 4 tonight.
You a cycle kind of guy, are you?
Not really. Bicycle.
I would always think that I'd rather have a guy go 3 for 4 with 3 bombs than hit for the cycle, get 4 hits.
It's a novelty, certainly.
Or even 4 doubles would be better, wouldn't it?
Depending on when you're up and what the situation is, I guess.
You know, you're one of those guys that likes to do math in public, so I'll let you do that.
I don't know much math. I'll tell you that right now. Arredondo has now thrown 26 pitches. He's yet to get through this 1 inning worth of work.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to work through the inning with no problem at all. But the same old bugaboo was propped up on him, which is his control.
Stubbs will run this ball down, and so no cycle for Omar Infante and no runs for the Marlins in the 9th. So the Reds come up down by 5 in the bottom of the 9th. bottom of the fourth. That gave the Reds a 2-1 lead. It was Joey's first of the year. We talked about earlier the 116th home run for Votto as a first baseman for the Reds, which puts him 5th all-time. The leader is Ted Kluszewski, one away from tying Sean Casey. Meanwhile, new pitcher into the game as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Ricky Nolasco goes 8, lost 3 runs, 6 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts. One of the big acquisitions for this Marlins franchise in the offseason. Heath Bell is in.
Well, they made a bunch of them. If you add them all up, it's well over $100 million. And Heath Bell at the very back end of the bullpen. 64 games last year for the Padres, 43 of 48 in saves. A hard-throwing right-hander that he figures to anchor the back end of this Marlins bullpen for Ozzie Guillen.
101 pitches, 69 strikes for Ricky Nolasco. They've had 3 games of the Marlins, all 3 quality starts. They turn it over to Bell here in the bottom of the 9th inning with Scott Rowland to lead it off. He's 34 years old. He signed in early December. Last year with the Padres, 48 saves. Last 3 years with San Diego, 148 saves. He had a long time trying to make it to the big leagues as he came up through the Mets organization. Took him 6 years in the minors before he finally made it to New York. Took him 2 more years after that until he finally made it to stay. Then was traded by the Mets to San Diego 2006. Finally, in his 3rd year out there, 2009, he became the closer. Took over really as a closer out there for Trevor Hoffman, and he gets a strikeout there of Scott Rowland to start the bottom of the 9th.
Well, he's pretty much a power pitcher as Heath Bell, and he just goes right after Scott Rowland right there. A little cut fastball. Looks like it's going to start at the center of the plate. By the time it gets there, it's right on the outside corner. Doesn't really go down very much, but if you pull off of it even a little bit, you're either going to miss a sweet spot or come up empty. Not only does he have good stuff, I mean, he's got a big, strong arm, but he's got a little bit of a herky-jerky windup, does Heath Bell. And I've got to figure that, if not distracting, is a little bit deceptive anyway for hitters, both righties and lefties.
Bruce gets under this ball and sends it high in the air to left, and Morrison's going to handle it. There are 2 men out. So the last chance for the Reds is Chris Heisey. Chris tonight 1 out of 3. He pops it up. Buck handles it, and the Marlins get their first win of the season, and in doing so, even this opening 3-game series at 1 game apiece as they defeat the Reds tonight by the final score of 8-3 here at Great American Ballpark. So the rubber game of this 3-game set will come up here tomorrow afternoon on Easter Sunday. 8-3 the final. A great job done by Ricky Nolasco.
Well, no doubt about it. I mean, there's a reason why he's been around with the Marlins for so long. He did exactly what Randy St. Clair, the pitching coach, predicted he would, which was throw strikes, change speeds. He worked very quickly. He had a lot of easy outs on the Reds tonight simply because he was attacking the strike zone with pitches that were moving a little bit. So John Buck, the catcher's happy. Ozzie Guillen is happy. We've got the rubber game tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that one.
Reds post game comes up right after this.